All right. Hello, everybody. We are here, and guess what? Last night, the biggest tournament of the recent months was played. It is the DreamHack Masters Last Chance Tournament. I was sleeping during it. It was in the middle of the night, Australian time. I do know the results in terms of the scoreline, but I do not actually know what happened in the games. So I am immediately going to be going over these games. We're going to be casting them, breaking them down, and we are, of course, starting with the semifinals. I've already cast the quarterfinals myself. Previously, I was able to cast some of those live as part of the event, but I was sleeping last night, like I said. So semifinals and grand finals is what we're going to be casting today. We're going to be starting off with none other than this series here. It's the upper side of the bracket. It is the semifinal between the Terran Korean powerhouse. It is TY. Going for a command center first opening. Damn, mega greedy. I love it. Up here in the top right-hand side, the Zerg player in the red. It is, of course, the Finnish phenom, Serral. The finisher, he's been known as, though he's been having trouble finishing some of his opponents off in this matchup. He struggled to finish off Beyond in some of their games, despite having a wholesome lead. In the end, it was a very, very powerful performance for him earlier in the tournament against multiple opponents. But he did have a bit of a surprise upset series against Solar, actually, where there was some really basic errors for him. He was not very impressed with his own play in that one. Did have a little bit of a break, hasn't been practicing as much over the Christmas break, but is still just so damned powerful. And in this matchup especially, I feel like Serral just has an amazing grip on exactly how to break down Terrans. And most importantly of all, I think he takes the momentum away from them. A lot of players in Terran vs. Zerg, they look to surprise the Zerg player and then just start kind of hitting them from the left, the right, all sides, Widowmine, bio pushes. And once they get momentum, they can run away with the game pretty quickly. But Serral's the sort of player who, unlike Raynor, who I feel often is a little bit greedy, you see Serral play a much more safer, contained version of StarCraft. Is he looking for a proxy there? He's looking for like a delayed proxy barracks hidden up to the left in case there was mass marine coming in. Then he drops that third on 28 while waiting for the Overlord to finish. So I like that. Delays this Overlord to 27 supply. So he goes right up to 27, 28 supply, builds the Overlord, drops the third hatch while he's waiting for that. And now, interestingly, he's skipping Ling speed. So this is kind of a bizarre opening, and to me that feels like a mistake. I don't think you would normally choose to delay Ling speed that long. Otherwise, why would you be mining so much gas? Serral has completely forgotten Ling speed. This is a huge blunder from the Finnish player. TY's gone for a reactor first on this barrack, skipping the Reaper early, so no pressure at all. But two Marines are out. The Zergling comes in, sees command center finish two Marines, and Serral even said this earlier in the tournament after he was being asked Fear Dragon was saying, he went command center first against you in one of those games. What were you thinking? We thinking, he's being really greedy. Serral said, well, I didn't even know he went command center first. How am I supposed to know? My Zergling walks in. It's the first thing I see is two Marines and a command center. You can't tell what opening it was, He's playing very safe with his early Overlords. Notice he doesn't send them to the front of the base because people are building these early Marines and they're often hunting the Overlords down. Behind this, it is a second barracks, a factory, and a very quick third command center. So super economy build for TY. A bit of an odd choice, or odd mistake, sorry, for someone as good as TY. Leaving an SCV there, idling next to the command center. This SCV is looking for any incoming, like, Lings or Roaches, I guess. He had a bunker on the way, but he cancels it because he sees Speed Overlord, and he knows if you've got Speed Overlord, you can't be rushing me too quickly. I should be safe against that with my double barracks marine production, my stim pack on the way. Starport goes down and we'll see a reactor. See, he's just got 50 gas. So the reactor goes down, getting ready to swap that over. And it's command center first into two barracks factory starports. There will be a double stim marine drop on the way. TY, of course, having only scouted with this SCV, he realizes he's played a very greedy opening. And that SCV will get taken down by Serral, who does lose one Overlord, is a little supply blocked here. You can see there just one Overlord for one SCV so far. Not a lot of trading. An early Baneley Nest for Serral going to give him a little bit of extra safety. Not that many Queens, though. But because there's zero pressure, notice that these creep tumors are spreading out so quickly. And this is one of the weaknesses of doing such an economy build. TY, I mean, he's actually ahead in economy in that he's dropping 3 mules at a time, and he's at almost equal workers. The problem is, if you do nothing to slow down the Zerg, that creep is going to get out of control. And that's why those two medevacs coming out is going to be the first moment where TY blasts across this map. He's not even going to wait for the medevacs. He might start walking across the map already because he just wants to get across there so damned quickly. And is already going to look to land that third base as well. Quick carapace on the way here for Serral, realizing that double upgrades might be a bit too expensive for now, but if he can get carapace, it's going to help his lings, his queens a lot against the Marine medevac. He's got a pretty quick layer as well as a second, third, and a fourth gas. So lots of gas coming in. Serral, I think, is going to be playing a quick Baneling speed and a quick Spire, as he's already morphing 6 Banelings, some Zerglings. 2 Marines drop off to try and push back Serral's vision. Serral, though, babysitting every single Zergling. Oh, isn't this just the Serral we know and love? Always looking for little angles wherever he can. And there we go. The 2 medevacs going to drop on the right-hand side of the map. Those Marines unloading there. They do find an Overlord. Plenty of Queens in position with the Ling Bane here as well. It's not going to be about winning the game for TY. It's can I pick off some of these Zerglings and Banelings for free. A little Ling run by does come in, but a bunch of Stim Marines there. The SCVs and Mules pulled off temporarily. Behind this, going up to 5 barracks is TY. The third barracks is almost finished. The next 2 starting up. And keep in mind, he does have double upgrades against the single upgrades of Serral. Serral's second evolution chamber is building now, down behind the third base. The Marines here not really finding any damage just yet. Still very minimal losses on either side. And, ooh, those Marines almost walked into that Baneling. And, ooh, got to be careful there. TY maybe a little over-eager. +1 melee starting up. Serral eager to get that going. He wants to get workers on this base. Keep in mind, he's only on 4 gases. So for Serral, it's going to be a Massling Bane Queen style for now. He often goes into Hydras after this, but it's going to be a little while till that actualizes. So for now, it's all about getting that big mineral boost up and just swarming your opponent with Ling Bane, using your creep spread on the map to control everything. TY grabbing a Zergling and a Baneling, but not really getting any of those Beyond-style pickoffs. Like, I feel like if that was Beyond, his Marines would have picked off 4 Banelings before picking up. TY not wanting to do anything dangerous. And Serral's Hydra Tech underway. He's got a Hydra Den there, an Extractor going down to bring it up to 5 gases. And that's just waiting for TY to be distracted. That Overlord filled with Banelings, it's waiting. A turret is building. There we go. He's going to send it in. There's a fight at the front. He distracts. TY picks up. TY is not looking because of that. Serral purposely engages on the front. And Serral comes in with a big Baneling drop. A slow response from TY. And he loses 12 workers. TY rotates, though, around the right-hand side. He's got tank bio there. No Widow Mines in this game. He wants the tanks to deal with the Hydra Bane. And just nice positioning. Oh, that's a good tank positioning there. I kind of wish it was tucked even more into the corner. But these tanks are going to be hard for Zerglings to surround the Marines. Ooh, TY a little bit slow to pull back. Those Banelings are right on top of them. There are more Banelings behind, though. The Ling flank did not take out all of these siege tanks. That tank is going to survive. That tank on the north does go down, though. 2 of the tanks have been kicked out of Serral's territory. But TY continuing to parade across the map. Not a bad trade for the Terran to start things off. He's just got to be careful because he's got 12 Marines building at a time, but he doesn't have a lot of reinforce. Yeah, and that's the weak spot. Serral realizes that this is such a committed push. His Zergling's cutting off the rally. TY is going to try and push in on the front at the same time. That base getting very low. He's trying to drop transfuses. Needing to keep this base alive is Serral, but look at that. The Baneling's taking some big tank shots. The Lings do clean that up. Marine drop in the main, but there's no anchor to this push. It's all multi-prong. It's all wild aggression for TY. There's no tanks anchoring the push. He's got to do damage, and damage he is doing. He picks off a few Hydras, saves most of those Marines. More Marines coming in the front. He's going to get the 4th base. That's a big snipe. He's got to click it. He does need to confirm the kill on that 4th, and he's able to do it. Now, that is not a game-winning move. Keep in mind, TY does not have a second factory on the way just yet. No add-ons on these barracks, which means he can't swap into those more efficient tanky Marauders. And where is the second factory? It simply does not exist. He's going into Widow Mines and Drilling Claws now to get some more efficiency against the Ling Bane, but he's not there just yet. Okay, TY, though, I think this gives him a good transition point. 4th Command Center's on the way. He's adding those tech labs on the barracks, starting Marauder production. His 2-2 is pretty well timed, so Serral's ahead on the carapace, of course, but behind on the melee. And if he can get that second factory going, I think that'd be huge. I'm kind of surprised that he is going Widow Mines, in fact, because it is actually Hydras. If it was Massling Bane, you really do need Widow Mines, but he's seen Hydras now, and he does swap back to tank production, but hitting a nasty supply block is TY as he, runs into some Hydra Bane on the left. Serral anticipating this, just crushing both sides, pushing them back. I mean, a lot of the Marines do survive, so it's not a massive loss, but it's a good set of control for Serral, who just stays in charge. He does desperately need to respread his creep, though, on all angles of this map. You can see that TY is keeping him busy enough that Serral, he's pushing this tumor and those ones, but there's areas which are wide open, and he doesn't have nearly as much control in. One tank building right now. So it's going to be pure bio, but where is the second factory? I feel like this is a pure bio army, and without tanks anchoring it, it makes it hard to take good engagements, to force the Zerg to be inefficient. TY for now relying on his multi-prong. His Marines are in the back of the base. His 2-2 kicks in just a moment. Wouldn't mind dropping a few Marines just to take Baneling hits. Taking 2 Banelings per Marine is always a good trade. That drop hides in the left. He's pushing in on the right. That's a dead hatchery. That one does get cancelled, and the double lib sieging up on this base. Nicely done. TY is all over this map with harassment right now. Lings are coming forward, though. The Widow Mine's holding on for now. The Hydras are going to take out at least one of those libs. The other one forced to hide in the corner of the map. I'd love to see that drop tuck away into the back of the natural. Another elevate right up into the main. Serral's got to be a bit triggered right now. TY is running circles around him, and he's finding a lot of damage. Earlier on, it was not a game-winning move, but now it's looking kind of fantastic. Oh, the Marines are getting trapped, though. Okay, does lose a few more Marines than necessary. The lib comes back in, but the Queen does clean it up. Serral hanging on to 4 bases of mining, but he's got to be efficient. 1 or 2 bad trades, and Serral's not going to have that big bank or ability to reinforce his army, but TY also doesn't have a lot of units to spare. He loses a whole pack of Marines up there for free, and remember it, like I said, it's almost pure bio. A big surround! Oh no, TY getting wrapped up! The Hydra's coming in from every side. Those medevacs, their boost, he needs to boost. He loses 2 medevacs with units inside. And oh my god, this is a bit of an all-in for Serral. This is a desperate counter push, but like I said, there's no tanks. He's just lost most of his bio. Oh, TY, I feel like he's in such a good position if he can just defend this without losing workers, but that third base is looking mighty exposed. His SCVs are trying to abandon Marines behind the mineral line there. The rest of the bio needs to get up here, but it's slow to move on. And the Banelings are going to take out a lot of SCVs on that third. Now, he's got to get his Hydras out of here, does Serral. He can't stay too long, but he's still got a lot of Ling Bane support, which makes it hard for the bio to engage. Marine Marauder kind of trickling in. A bit of miscontrol here from TY. And this was an important counter-strike. SCVs come up here and start trying to attack the drone line. You go, TY. Yeah, Drilly boys assemble. Let's friggin' find out in the top left of the map. Oh, he's going to lose all of them on the way home. Ah, if only he was able to get those back, but no, Banelings clean him up. Oh, I really felt like TY built a nice advantage for himself in this game, and just losing a few units on the map, getting a little bit sloppy with that push, and especially with a big bio army, you've got to be kind of spread out when that fight happens. You can't be too clumped up, and you really do want Widow Mines in there to back it up against Mass Ling Bane. You want tanks to back it up against Hydras. And with Mass Hydra now out, Serral's composition actually is not too bad. It doesn't have any attack upgrades, though. So against +3 armor, the Hydra damage will suck. Serral does need to be careful as the tank count grows. And this command center here, lots of mules have been dropped. There's not a lot of bio. So we may have to give up that position. Double drop going down the right-hand side of the map. And Serral has really just consolidated this left side now. These 2 bases both fully mining on minerals. That's the important thing. As long as Serral has a 4th and 5th mineral line going fully, he should be reasonably comfortable. TY is going to come in towards the main again. Maybe look for some more drones. Maybe the spawning pool snipe one more time. Serral's responding as quickly as he can on the left side. Looks like TY takes out a couple of Banelings there. Extractor goes down. TY's got to leave. I really don't think he should be throwing units away right now. Okay, he's going to just stand his ground and fight, because he's pushing on there as well. Oh, but Banelings do catch some of his units. He picks up and tries to boost home, but a wild push forward here. I think TY here has gone way too deep. He just lost a bunch of medevacs. And TY here, it feels like he kind of has this pressure after losing those workers. Only 47 SCVs alive right now. He feels he needs to carry the momentum right now. I actually think he was in an okay position to rebuild his economy. He's got that double upgrade advantage, but he's over pushing into creep. And Hydra Bane, when you push deep on creep and let yourselves get surrounded time and again, you just get overwhelmed. That's, I think, a few tactical errors from TY, as well as an overall strategic error to not just rebuild his SCV count. He's got 5 command centers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's floating out to a 5th base, and he's got an extra orbital dropping mules. Honestly, if he just rebuilt his SCV count, Serral's not getting to lurkers anytime soon. Serral is kind of stuck on this okay economy of Hydrabane, but it's not an amazing economy. And I do think the lack of a second factory, and most importantly, these overeager engagements have cost TY a lot of momentum in this game. And that siege tank does end up going down. A good spread backwards does take out most of these Banelings, but I think Serral maybe just has enough army to crack through. The Hydras now have +1 attacks. They are doing some damage. The 3-3 bio, it's powerful, but the numbers aren't there. TY, oh my god, the Marines do take a big Baneling head on the right, but if he loses this orbital, then Serral's attack was worth it, and Serral takes out the orbital. Serral's losing a lot of units. You can see how close this fight is. Imagine if TY had 1 or 2 more tanks, or like 10 more Marines and Marauders in this fight. A few Marauders, a few more Marines. If he hangs onto that command center, TY could probably kill every single one of those Hydras, those expensive units. As it was an expensive trade for Serral, and I think he ends up in a better position. But now it feels like Serral, he's got that base on the right, mining healthily. Serral's in control. He can stall this push out for a while with Hydrabane, and his Lings find the rally. Oh, beautiful. Just rotates those around. TY, his production is not even at full swing just because his economy is so weak right now. And look at that. The Lings are going to get a siege tank, a few more Marines, and this is buying so much time. It's pulling him back. There's a siege tank here. Serral says, okay, yes, please. I will take out a siege tank on its own. You've got so few of those to work with to begin. And now it's feeling even better. Some of the Lings do get out of there. He's re-landed a command center on the left, so TY still does have an economy, but I don't know. I feel like if Serral can get a +2 range upgrade started, if he can keep respreading creep, he's just going to be a little bit more solid as this game continues. And a massive Ling run by Reddy on the right side. It's going to go in. His natural doesn't even have a finished wall. Oh, TY is in huge trouble. No 3-3 here for Serral yet. Doesn't have adrenal glands either. I don't think he has a hive. He's been playing this kind of low economy Hydrabane style. He hasn't made it to the late game, but he doesn't need to because he's dragged TY's economy down and he's going to swing it on the front. He's forced the whole rally to be distracted. If his Banelings can find the juicy center of this bio and SCVs, oh, and he does! Oh my god, TY losing all of those units, and whew, GG, well played. Game 1 to Serral. All right. Let's go. It is map number 2 of this best of 5 series. And I think he played a really fantastic, almost flawless game for the first, 8, 9 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of that last map. But kind of fell apart a little bit from there, was not able to secure the correct engagement, started throwing away far too many units with drops. Those Ling run-bys started to catch him off guard a bit, and just overcommitting into a few fights on creep as well against a Serral who he'd effectively forced into a rather low economy. Let's see if he can stay a little bit more controlled and calm and capitalize on those early advantages. This is TY. Down in the bottom right, a good comeback in game 1. I'm sure he was stressed. I bet there was a tussle of the hair as he does angrily after he has a stressful game where he goes, I shouldn't have let myself get in that situation. Down here in the bottom right, lost his 4th base in that last game. Not a situation he ever wants to experience. It is Serral. Now, there is a meta in this matchup where, and I've started to do it as well, a lot of players say they take, he's probably going to take this third. Most of the top players like that third. I prefer the other one. They will often take a 4th hatchery and a 5th hatchery on opposite sides of the map at the same time. And that is specifically so if they lose one, they can just transfer drones to the other base and still have mining. And it's kind of like just losing a macro hatchery, which is nowhere near as big as losing somewhere where you do potential mining from. Now, that's what a lot of Zergs have been doing, especially someone like a Laser who's more prone to give up bases, be a bit greedy at one point, be wildly aggressive with his backstabs. Serral, on the other hand, is the kind of guy who sometimes will just be like, no. I'm going to take all my bases in this corner of the map, and I will never lose control of this corner. And I will spread creep like crazy, and I will hold my ground and stand firm. So sometimes Serral does that. But you got to keep in mind as well, in his earlier series in this tournament, Serral showed things like one base Ravager. He showed big Ravager Ling timing attacks. Because of that, TY being very respectful, sends an early SCV, scouts the hatchery, and says, okay, let's go block that 3rd base. Make it not too easy for Serral to take that. You can see Serral bringing a drone down. Actually, Serral always goes for this 3rd. This is bad studying by TY of his opponent. It looks like he wants to block the 3rd, unless he wants Serral to take this base. TY should know that Serral prefers that 3rd hatchery. A bit of an odd thing there. Maybe TY not quite having done his homework on his opponent. Or a higher level mind game. Oh, he gets a drone though. A good start to things. That's very, very nice from TY. Now, bit of a change in the opening this time around. You're going to notice Serral went for a quicker Zergling speed in this game. Of course, he is up against a more standard Reaper opening from TY here on Lightshade. The third hatch a little bit slower, but he'll have the Zergling speed, so that Reaper's going to need to be careful around the 3-minute 30 mark. You can see he's expecting the Reaper to jump on the high ground, so that Queen is standing duty. And behind this, it is going to be super quick third command center, so delays the second gas, gets the third command center, and says, okay, I won't have money to start Hellions immediately because we want to start a starport and get Banshees out for safety. Usually Banshees, he could skip the Banshee, do something else, go a Liberator. But most commonly, you'll see 2 Hellions, then a Tech Lab, and then that'll swap over. So the idea is your Hellions are a little slower than normal because you're spending all your minerals in the third command center, but you're still getting the factory fast because the factory unlocks the starport. And that starport, of course, unlocking the Banshee, which is the best answer to shutting down a big Ravager Ling attack. Nothing that shoots up in a Ling Bane rush or Ravager Ling, anything like that. Now, TY leaves that SCV there for a long time. Finally does send it home. Serral is going for Overlord speed, wants to play super duper safe. He wants to see everything that his opponent's going for as the first 2 Hellions come across the map. Banshee is on the way there. And he has got the second gas on the natural expand, of course. We'll keep our eyes on if he decides to go for Cloak or not. There's 2 Hellions and the Reaper there. Don't want to take too much damage. If you do take damage, you want it to be on the Reaper, not the Hellions. TY would love to snipe these tumors. But already the creep spread getting out there. 2 tumors on the top, 2 on the left. Serral expanding in every direction, pumping Queens out pretty much non-stop. And Overlord speed did just go in, so he got a full scout. He saw Cloak start on the starport. And he'll probably try to go back in to confirm, see if that's cancelled or not. As the Banshee actually did get cancelled. And TY started a Viking. TY said, okay, you've seen the Banshee tech. No worries. Let's just go for a Viking and start killing some of these Overlords. And that is quite clearly a fake Cloak. Now, interestingly, he's starting another Viking. Do we see that cancel once that Overlord goes down? Yes, we do. I was like, there's no way you're going to get 2 Vikings. One does the job. Serral's like, okay, this is going to die anyway. Let's just go confirm that he did skip the Banshees. You can see Serral's playing really safe anyway. But he sees the starport swapped over. He goes through all 3 bases and cancels his spores. Big brain reaction there from Serral. His spore crawlers were about to finish. He was trying to play safe first Cloak Banshees, but he came in, he saw that the starport had lifted off the Tech Lab, so he knew it was a fake out, cancels all 3 of them, gets the money back, and says, okay, let's be as efficient as possible. 3 bases fully mining. The Baneling Nest is there, as is the Lair. He's up on 3 gas geysers, so he can go for a really quick Baneling speed with that. Double Evo Chamber now starting at 5 minutes 20 as well. So Serral playing a very traditional style, and as I said, he likes to sometimes really expand to one side of the map. It looks like for now, sorry, he's choosing this bottom side as the most important area to spread creep and defend. We do expect him to take a 5th up there a bit later, but it won't be as important as this big, wide open field, which is a great area for those Zerg melee units to engage. Now, there can be problem areas if they put tanks up here, which is why he's breaking these rocks down. Probably try to break that down as well. Just try to get rid of any of these blocking features. You just want a wide open field where you can close the distance with the artillery of Terran, with the long-ranged high-damage units. And Speed Overseer, the fastest bloody scout in the game, way faster than that Viking, is going to come through and just confirm what's going on. Says, okay, yep, just checking. It is a normal bio build, making sure it's not some weird mech play. And Serral goes up to a Hydra Den, as well as a 5th gas geyser now mining. You can see he's already droning the minerals on that 4th hatchery as well. Now, TY, on the other hand, he's got tank production going pretty consistently off that one factory. The double engineering bay upgrades are about tied with Serral's. A slight lead on top of the melee, but pretty similar overall in upgrades. And once again, same as last game, a really quick 3 barracks goes down for TY. So he wants to have that big stream of Marines. Now, we've got to keep our eyes on, do add-ons go down on these? Because if it's Tech Labs going down straight away, he's going straight to Marauders. He's going to a longer game. But no matter what, getting these barracks before 4th Command Center, before 2nd Factory means there's going to be some sort of pushing onslaught. It'll probably be a few rounds of just Marine production out of that, just to give him enough units to try to push through the Zerg territory. And this is a very committed sort of build order. Remember, he sniped the 4th with this same sort of opening in the previous game and was not able to turn that into a win. I do think he made mistakes to kind of give up his lead, but it wasn't a game-winning situation because he does stall out taking a 4th base. He does stall out his next step. With only 1 gas on that 3rd base, he won't even be able to start 2-2 immediately. He'll be a bit shy of the gas required for that. I like this move from Serral. Look at that. He doesn't show the whole backstab. Drops creep, sends just 2 Zerglings in. He's like, I don't want to show this army. This army is ready. It can either hit the natural, roll in and kill a lot of units, or it can come in from behind and try to clear up my enemy's siege tanks. We see TY wanted to take advantage of that position. He wishes those rocks were still there just to make this even harder for Serral. But he's creeping his way forward. He's got those Hellbats. I love the spread out Hellbats from TY. Starts +2 attack behind this. Oh, Serral's going to go for it. Even earlier than I thought. I thought he'd wait longer. The Banelings, though, cornering those Marines. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide. And the Hydralisks with the muscular augments allowing them to close the distance with those tanks very quickly and clear them. An important hold there for Serral. Now, TY tries to maintain position, but that's him more beating his chest and posturing and hoping that Serral respects it, because he absolutely does not actually earn the respect with 9 Marines and a Viking. This is a big army for Serral. He's cleared all the siege tanks. I feel like for TY, after losing that fight, you're just not in a great position. He starts a 4th command center, but I don't know, man. This is not looking good for TY. Even though his 2-2's a little ahead of Serral, Serral can afford to split off a ton of Zerglings to hit the rally. And once again, once you lose that first army, those tanks, you're not really scaring Serral on the front as much. Serral just sends a ton of Zerglings in. He gets shot by a tank from the high ground and pulls back. Serral, some would call him a bit more of a cowardly Zerg. I feel like Raynor would have gone in there. Just saying. No. Serral somewhere is raising an eyebrow in deep anger that I would dare compare him to his gambly young Italian cousin. I think it's definitely one where he could have held position and killed a few SCVs, but he saw the tank. He probably assumed there was a lot of Marines on the high ground as well. Now, Serral's looking for a push here, and he's going to bring in another Overlord to poo creep. He's just saying, look, as long as I keep you on 3 bases, this is awesome for me. TY does not have a lot of counter pressure on, and a hive is up. 87 workers for Serral. Oh, dude, his mineral income. His mineral income is going to be out of control. He's going to have an endless amount of Lingbane. And I've been a bit critical of Serral because sometimes when he gets in this situation, he just rolls Lingbane Hydra into defensive tank Marine setups, and it can be a bit inefficient. But in this particular game, I'm like, dude, just roll into him. Make another 30 Banelings, make more Lingbane, and just roll over him as he extends to this 4th base. He's going to be spread a little bit thin. I think there's no reason not to just be rolling over your opponent. And securing a 6th base is Serral. He's growing bigger and bigger. He looks like he's posturing forward just a little bit. You got to be careful, TY. Oh, no, TY. There's 3 Hydras there. Watch out, buddy. Oh, he accidentally kills his own Baneling. Gets a bit excited, does Serral. He thought he was going to kill a full medevac. Got a little excited. Those Marines just going to hide in the corner. Remember that this is a mostly bio force, which works really well when you've got the numbers advantage. Oh, no. Oh, TY thought he was pulling back. TY's moving up the top. If Serral jumps on that command center, it dies. Serral is in a great position to jump on that. This army on the north ready to backstab as well. As TY pushes forward, Serral's going to jump in. That's a dead command center, almost certain. There's only 6 Hydras, so maybe not. Maybe he can't secure the kill. Serral's going to pull back on the top. He's not going to go for the double backstab. He's got a lot of Lingbane Hydra coming in, and this is naturally going to be sandwiched. TY is presenting his army here, and Serral's not going to hesitate. He's going to jump on that. You got to be careful. You've got a natural flank in the top right. A Liberator comes in. It does get deflected by Hydra Queen. TY's got to get out of here. He needs to pick up those tanks and leave. Use the medevacs to get those tanks to safety. He leaves one tank behind, just kind of abandons it. He's going to try and use a spready on the high ground. I guess these choke points are good enough. He can definitely hold that area. That would be inefficient. He does drop in the bottom side of the map. Marines coming on in here. Looking for pickoffs where they can, but oh, TY! Overextended there. He was distracted at the front. He loses all the drops on the south. He does pick off a few queens, a bit of the creep. Definitely feels like Serral, though, has a bank that's out of control. You need more than a few little pickoffs here and there. You need a lot right now. And TY, that base is looking vulnerable. He's got to mass repair it. He stims. Okay, the bio there does help scare Serral off that base. And tank's still building one at a time. It is a pure bio army for TY. No Widow Mines to be the big equalizers against the Lingbane. So it's all about setting up good forward angles and trying to get Serral to fight into you. But what we're seeing is a more patient Serral of old. We're seeing the Serral who's like, no. I'm not going to take a bad fight. Looks like they had a bit of a pause there for a moment. But a quick unpause. Serral here posturing around, getting ready to flank that army. He's going to send some changelings in. TY trying to corner it. Well, he sneaks a double drop around the north, but Serral does see that. He will notice it in the near future. TY's progression now. Now he's got a second and third factory on the way. It's been very slow to get there. Of course, TY has been trailing economically for a long time. It's way behind in the bank. I think TY really has to just slow this game down and cannot be overeager. Right now, that army cannot get picked up to safety. This is a bad move. He's got to leave. Those units, you cannot fit those in the medevacs, TY. What are you doing? What are you doing? Ah, I think he thought he had a third or a fourth medevac here. He had way too many units with no safety measure. He's going to push on the north at the same time. The tanks are getting a really good position, but he might lose this planetary. He never repaired it earlier, and that planetary does go down. I don't think he has a new command center to replace it straight away. He's got to at least do a good trade, but even a good trade is not really going to be that great. Abducts come down. Vipers just working so well. Not a lot of Zergling support for the Banelings, but there's just so many that they inevitably do close the distance, and it starts off as a good trade for TY, but even though you take out a lot of Banelings, Serral's got the bank. Serral keeps his 6th base alive. TY trying to rebuild his 4th. It's just a battle of scale at this point. Look, units lost being even. That is bad for Terran, even when they're on pretty similar economies, but when you're down 2 bases the entire game, TY is running out of steam, and Serral calmly, methodically choking him out. Creep on the top of the map did get pushed back a bit, but you see Serral always leaving a drop defense squad. A few Lings running in as well. He's got adrenal glands as well. +3 carapace, +2 range is about to be finishing. And the Lurker Den is on the way. I actually don't really think of Serral as a Lurker player. I think Raynor is one of the best Lurker players in the world. Serral will add a handful of Lurkers and do what he can with them, but he's much better with the Vipers, the Hydras, the Lings, and the Banes. This is a composition. Serral is an absolute expert, and he prefers this more mobile style that he's got years of experience with. Doesn't like that scrappy multi-pronged Lurker game that Raynor is such a big fan of. The Hydra Bane on the south is going to wrap that up. 6th base on the top does go down. So TY continuing to find some good angles with his limited tank count, but losing a lot of units on that side as well. These tanks are going to get routed. There's just too much Ling Bane, man. Oof. Serral is just rolling over. He's looking for that counterattack. That's an orbital on the 5th base. And that is not very good for TY, who right now is building tanks 3 at a time, but I think a little bit too late. Personally do think I prefer Beyond style of double factory tank against this. Dream as well, another top level Terran that would be a big fan of getting more factories up earlier. TY is trying to do it with mostly bio, and it's definitely a style that has some strength to it. But when you don't have the momentum, when you get far behind, it's very hard to make a comeback with an almost pure bio composition. You're not able to take advantage of as many ledges. Your defensive power is not quite there. You tuck 2 tanks behind a planetary, it's going to defend a big onslaught of Ling Bane Hydra really well. The Zerg has to pull back. You have a pack of bio with it, it's not quite the same long-range splash damage power that can get you back into a game from behind. And I love the way Serral's been adding Infestors. He's really been getting sick value out of those in the later stages. We saw him use Infestor Broodlord with great expertise against Beyond as a way of beating Tank Ghost. Ooh, nice snipe on one of those Vipers, but it's a lot of Ling Bane Hydra. Okay, as you see, the tank spread scares Serral back. Serral's going to come in on the south, and these tanks looking a bit exposed. The Banelings, the Ultras, the Hydra is going to take out that base. Goes into the mineral line, so he hits both the SCVs and the planetary. Takes out 9 workers, 2 tanks, and a command center. Serral still mining his heart out. He's got adaptive talons on the way, so there's lurker upgrades. As I said, though, where are the actual lurkers? He gets the upgrades, but unless the Terran's trying to push through him with mass bio, he very rarely actually uses the lurkers. He's much more a big fan of the Ultras, the Ling Bane Hydra mobility. I think both of his Vipers have gone down. No, he's got 1 Viper still alive. Where is that? Back at home, gathering more energy off the hatchery. No Infestors just yet. But if this slows down, he'll definitely look for things like Broodlords, turn that into a Great Aspire, add Infestors to it for Fungal on the Ghosts. For now, though, he feels like just raw numbers, he should be able to swing in. A lot of units coming in on the south as well. And look at that. Yes, there's a big tank spread, but there is so much Zerg, a blinding cloud on those rear line of tanks. The Ghosts going down. Bad observing there because I am getting so bloody excited as we are just seeing a Ling Bane Ultra Hydra onslaught. The bio in the back actually pulls in and takes those Ultras out, but not before that hatchery goes down. command center, I should say. The Terran hatchery, the command center. +3 melee and +3 range is about to kick in. More Ling Bane to remax here. TY looking for a counterattack. Serral just jumps on top and says, nah, I got too much. Ooh, very nice game 2. All right. It is time for game number 3, and off to a rough start to the series. I really think that game 1 was a missed opportunity, and I think I will be continuing by doing a bit of a breakdown at the end of this series. I think we'll put it all in one where I'll go back and look at the key moments from each game. I think that last game was all about that first push that got defended. Game 1, though, I actually think was going great for TY, and then he failed to capitalize on it, and I'd love to go back and highlight that again. So I think at the end of this series of casts, we're going to go back and just quickly go look at the 1 minute period, which was the most integral in where a player won or lost each of those games. So down here in the bottom right hand side, he's got to win the next 3 games in a row if he wants to go to the grand finals of the DreamHack Masters last chance. It is TY. Now, of course, TY has had a great year. He's still seeded rather highly into the World Championships at Katowice in a few months anyway, but would have loved to earn a lot more money here, as well as an even better seeding. His opponent up here in the top left-hand side of the tournament, in the blue, it is the Zerg, going for a pool gas opening? Serral. It's a Roach Rush? And the Ling speed is not going to be that fast. So he's got 40 gas, 120. It's still pretty quick, actually. The gas went down like just after the pool started. They're about the same time. So he could be doing a bit of a little Zergling flood. And you know what? TY's doing a reactor first. No scout build. I keep talking about how players play greedy versus Serral because they know he plays hatch first and he doesn't really scout aggressively. Doesn't really do anything except overlord speed, and I've been saying how he should be taking more easy wins. The fact that he went 1-base Ravager versus Beyond, you know, and it was obviously really good because it was up against a proxy 3-Rax Marine. Ravagers kicked the crap out of Marines. Here again, TY is going command center, reactor, into the factory. He's going to build 2 Marines, and it looks like he'll probably then just swap the factory over and build some Hellions. And I'll tell you what, these 4 Zerglings can beat 2 Marines, so they might cause some trouble. But I think we're going to see a Ling flood behind it, and then we go 4 Lings starting up. So he's going to bank up a whole bunch of Zerglings here off just 18 drones, and he's going to have them all rush across with Ling speed. He's going to look to... He won't be able to kill the command center, but just flood in, kill as many SCVs as possible. And I kind of wonder if he even hides these, right? It looks like he's waiting to see if a Reaper arrives at his side of the map before going in with them. But upon seeing none, he's like, okay, probably one of these Marine into Reactor or Reactor first builds. Let's just bide our time on that. Now, interestingly, it's only 8 Lings. Oh, this is such a pansy Serral move. Serral's such a coward, guys. If this was a real Zerg like Bly, he'd make like 80 Zerglings. Oh, Serral's been shown. He only makes 8 Lings. This is an 8 Ling run by, but he's shown his hand. Serral, you gotta go. You've been spotted. I think the Marine has 1 more vision than the Zergling, so I think he was a little slow to realize, oh, Ling speed's here. He's going to catch the Marines. The Marines went out there. Oh, bad choice by TY, but he's got 2 Hellions, so he's totally fine. I mean, losing 4 Marines sucks. That's an okay trade for Serral. If you just look at Zergling versus Marine, what you got to remember, though, is Serral built these Zerglings pretty early in the game. He went for a pool first, so not an ideal opening for Serral. I think this is totally fine for TY. He's got a medevac on the way. He's going to try and Hellion drop counterattack. And, yeah, pretty similar workers on both sides. But as long as TY gets a quick third up, no later than, say, 4 minutes 30, I feel very good about TY's position. Serral's not quite exploding in workers as quick as he would want to. He's going for a really quick Baneling nest. So I think he's anticipating, like, a Hellbat timing coming in. Yeah, he saw a medevac come out as well. So he knows there's a medevac on the way. He's really worried about dying to Hellbats. He's building more Zerglings right now. But sending some across to do a counterattack, knowing they're not going to help much at home against Hellbats, that's actually really good for Serral. They could do big damage. There's going to be 2 Hellions at home, but not much else. There we go. Nice wall off. So Serral can defend the wall there with just 1 queen. Oh. He's going to send his queens down to the front to defend. The Lings run in. Good micro by TY. Drilly Boys plus Hellions. Always very powerful. If you're ever getting swarmed by Zerglings, as long as it's not a crazy number, just running into the middle of your mineral line or even one of these gaps and then attacking with the SCVs to kind of buffer for them is a great way to do it. And what you can then do is if the SCV is taking too much damage, you then hold position. You just hold position everything. The Hellions will keep fighting. The SCVs won't keep fighting. But because they stop attacking, the Zerglings will stop attacking the SCVs, and they'll try to move past them to the Hellions, which, because the SCVs are all kind of stacked up, they won't be able to do. And then the Zerg will have to counter that with their own hold position micro, maybe a little bit of focus fire. It's going to buy you a lot of time, keep those Hellions alive, allow them to stack up damage. Now, there is an armory going down, so it's a delayed Hellbat timing on the way. That Overlord will fall to those two Marines. And a fake medevac in the main. He's looking to try and pull him out of position. He's going to run in and maybe morph Hellbats on the front, but there are Banelings here. I think he saw those Banelings. Morphing Hellbats would be a very bad idea. Third command center did end up going down not too late. Going into 3 racks bio behind it. Engineering bays are very slow though. Hellions trying to ride on in. Not finding an opening just yet. The Raven though in the back door. There we go. I like the way this is a bit of triple threat coming in. The Raven in the back of the base, the Hellions on the front, and the fake medevac on the right as well. Doesn't get a lot of kills, a few Zerglings, only like 1 drone. And Serral here sees those Hellions rotating around. You'll notice the Overlord coverage, just pristine for Serral. So his Queen's trying to always move to anticipate. His Ling Bane ready to surround those Hellions. And he's going to take out that tumor. Oh, look at this. Queen out in the open. Might just fight her, actually. It's tempting to drop an auto turret. The Raven is taking a lot of damage. This Raven in the back does a bit more as well. Not quite going to pick off that Overlord, though. That Overlord did barely survive in the back of Serral's main base. And trying to respread the creep is TY. Now, wisely Aspire on the way. And this is something you're kind of forcing by doing this Raven build. The Ravens will just hang out in the back of your base all game long. So you have to go mutas to shut that down. And that is why I would love to see TY not build tanks, but build Widow Mines. Because thinking about this, I really feel if you play a Raven opening, you should by default be going Widow Mines. You know you're forcing mutas out of your opponent. Very surprising, but sitting on a tech lab is that factory right now, and I think that's a mistake from TY. Maybe just a bit of a lack of planning there, a lack of foresight. Yeah, he's building more tanks right now. So TY has been pretty dead set on the 8 barracks bio tank push. It went terribly in map 2, and I'd like to see him evolve a little bit more. It's scary to play Serral in the late game, but I actually think Serral has a lot more weakness in the late game than someone like Raynor. I think going to the 4-5 base stage versus Raynor is just accepting defeat, because you'll never beat him there. He's just too good at the lurker late game. Serral is actually not as good as TY in late game as Raynor in this late game. Oh my god. Oh my god. TY jumps on top. 3 queens go down. Dude, and remember that Raven can drop a bunch of auto turrets. Okay, this is a good bit of damage. Okay, there's a lot of Banelings. Auto turrets do go down though. Ooh, he gets a cancel on the 4th. Nicely done. Mutas do find the Raven in the back, so let's give him some ground. TY's got to pull back. That was a really deep push. He wanted to get some more creep shumers, but I think that's more than enough damage. The thing is, when your opponent goes mutas and is on 3 base, the one way you let them back into the game is letting them kill your army. We've seen Su and a lot of Korean Zergs, similar to him, often, I'm going to bring that tank home, but they often make comebacks where they lose their 4th, but then the Terran stays out on the map a bit too far, gets his army surrounded by the Lingbane Muta, loses everything, and then suddenly that Zerg is back in the driver's seat. So Serral, he's behind economically. He's trying to build a 4th and a 5th hatch at the same time. His mutas go across the map. Serral not as decisive as someone like Su, who I think is almost always happy to take a giant gamble. Factory's making Widow Mine drilling claws and a second factory on the way way quicker this game. 4th command center as well, so set up for that longer game. It's hard to kill a mutiling Bane player, so TY knows the best way to play against that, and especially having sniped the 4th is to go to the next step, but oh, that's a big run by, dude. Where's his army? Where's his marine production right now? He doesn't have that many marines. Dude, this could do huge damage. He can't lose that command center or his SCVs, but look at that. The Lings, the mutas get on top. TY, he F2s his army home. I feel like, oh no, this is such a good backstab from Serral, but just having no spotting units out there for TY. I mean, we've seen Terran players get caught by this, often saying, no, it's fine. I'll have units popping out. They'll be able to defend. I should have enough from my rally. But that was incredibly risky. When you grab your whole army and move out like that, especially against a muta player, you've got to send a few spotting units out to make sure there isn't a pack of Zerglings coming in with it. And Serral, look at this. 13 SCVs and sniping a whole bunch of the reactors. Wow, big damage. TY does repair some of those. Remember that I think TY was in a better position than Serral before that, but another tank gets left out on the map, so he's still building tanks, but he keeps leaving them on the map. This is something you can't be affording to do, TY. You really need Widow Mines right now, and he's still not building them. That factory lost its reactor, which means no Widow Mine production just yet, and this gives Serral time to max out on Mutiling Bane and maybe just win the game. Because honestly, he's not droning. He builds 3 drones. Like, Serral's economy is shit. He's on a very low economy, guys. 67 drones versus 65 SCVs. If he just defends well, I think TY can get back in this game. But it's just the fact that, look, okay, your first Thor's coming out. That's some good anti-muta. Bloody hell, you need Widow Mines. You need them so badly, though. And finally, the first Widow Mines queuing up at the 10-minute mark. But TY is forced into his corner of the map. He's going to have to play a long, slow game to recover from here. Muta's coming on in, getting one of the building turrets, getting another turret. Are they going to go for the third? They are. Taking out all 3 missile turrets there. Not getting a lot of SCVs, though. Just a little bit with the bounce damage. And the Thor should chase him off. Oh, TY, he's got to repair that. Okay, the Thor does get a big splash damage hit. Marines are there as well. And the Mutas, whoa! One of them does fly into its doom. Lottling Bane over here, that 4th, is not particularly well defended right now. Serral might just try to dive on that, saying, look, I'm pulling you around with my Mutas. And he's actually setting up for a double-pronged assault. He's up to 85 workers behind this, which does give him a bit of renewability, but he doesn't have a lot of bank. TY's army pulled to the top right. Serral's just going to go in with this. This is more of a distraction than anything. That army pulls back, and this is why. This is the real damage dealer. Those Banelings just taking out so many SCVs. And he does take out the planetary. Unfortunately, didn't split any lings onto that tank. That tank just killed like 20 units. If he actually put Zerglings on that tank early on, it would have been good. Oh, TY! Big brain tactical maneuver. Realizes those Mutas are sliding out the edge. Catches a whole bunch of them. But having lost his 4th base, TY feels pressure to push. And remember, he doesn't have any Widow Mines with this army. He's got 6 Widow Mines, but they're all at home right now. They're in his mineral lines. So Serral has forced him to use a lot of his anti-Muta, his anti-Baneling, back at home. More units coming across now. Okay, that's really good positioning for TY. The fact that his rally's coming in now, look at this, and he's got an anti-armor missile. He says, let's fight while you've got -3 armor on all of those units. And he's going to take out this 5th base of Serral. Nicely done. Serral, though, has been pushed into a desperate backstab, and he's going to catch that command center, isn't he? Dude, losing that command center would be such a bummer. TY does have one building up there. Oh, that tank's going to go down. The Ling Bane coming on in. TY wants to punish, but the Banelings... those Banelings hard to deal with, mate. Takes out the command center and a few of those units. Serral retaking a 5th on the left of the map. He's on 92 workers. He's struggling to have enough room for them to actually mine from at this point. His own hive is on the way. You can see he's got +2 flyer attack for the Mutas. How many Mutas are out? Just 16. So it's not an overwhelming Muta count. But the fact that TY's economy keeps getting pushed back to not enough bases, it means he is in a little bit of a tough situation. And it's going to be supply capped if he loses another command center. And this one over here in the top right should unsupply block him. But, he goes to build a command center blocked by a burrow. Look at that. Another Ling run by coming in. This one TY should be a bit better prepared for. As he guns these Zerglings down. Does need to scan to clear that up, though. And he forgets to. He goes to build it again. It's going to be blocked a second time. Mutas and Zerglings on the top right with some Banelings there. A lot of Ling Bane here. Goes down and Zerglings denying it again. TY. And he's good. Burrowed Banelings. Burrowed Banelings! Watch out! Watch out, TY! Watch out! Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, the Ling Bane here. Okay, he's going to try and engage. Ling Bane kind of coming forward a little bit. TY, though, says, alright, I'm in range of that hatch. You have to fight into this. Okay, these Widow Mines are not firing just yet, and that makes it hard for Serral to engage. Once the Widow Mines are gone, he can take this out, but those 2 Thors standing up front and center. A few Marines going to back them up. The Thors are a little bit too far forward. There we go. Ooh, the Banelings avoiding the Widow Mines for now. One big Widow Mine does land. And TY is going to lose this left-hand side army, but he's going to push on the right at the same time. There's Banelings there. Pull the Marines back and you're good. That's a lot of Banelings to be trapped up here on their own. Oh, he clicked the hatchery. That's a big mistake there from TY. And a little slow to react. Okay, he does take down most of the Banes, but now he's got to get back to this base. The Widow Mines, the safety. He didn't get the hatchery snipe. Serral just hanging on to his bases. He's got 3-3 and Adrenal Glands on the way. This has been a rather back and forth game, but I feel like TY, he's got to hang on to this position. Okay, that's a good defense. That base is off center by 2 full squares. TY has clearly got the adrenaline pumping right now. He's finally rebuilding this command center. If that went down a few minutes ago, I'd be much happier with TY's situation. As it is, I think he can deny this base one more time, but he's got to watch about the counterattack. He's got to realize that, okay, you've taken this position. Serral, being very reflexive, is not going to fight you. He's going to threaten the engage. He's going to swing in with a giant Zergling Muta attack. A few Widow Mines, a little bit of bio. He does not have many Marines here. TY, you've got to keep that command center up, mate. Bit of a skirmish on the front. The Widow Mines. Oh, does get one good mine here, and the Thor should hang on there. Okay, Serral there with a bit of an overly ambitious attack. With the Marine rally coming out, Serral gets his army blitzed. Well done by TY. And that command center will survive. He can finish that one building. He's pushing forward on the front at the same time. TY here is hungry. He feels victory with in his grasp. He's seen a few bad trades for Serral. Serral's trading just Ling Bane Muta with a 2 upgrade deficit. 2-2 versus 3-3 this whole time. You can see the units lost tab difference. 8,000 resources lost. 21.5 to 13,000. And because of that, TY is like, okay, cool, I'm in the driver's seat. The problem is this army is so isolated on its own. I feel like he needs to pull back and regroup. TY has been occupying this situation. I think he should have just unsieged and left. He's hoping Serral's going to keep taking bad fights into him. And I mean, that's a good trade for TY, but the problem is this base. Serral has been allowed to take that base. He's going to take this expansion, and he's going to start spreading creep down here as well. Serral, no matter how much pressure you put him under, his creep does not stop. Oh, the Widow Minefield actually takes out a fair few Zerglings there. He leaves his siege tanks behind once again. TY, the siege tank abandoner. Guys, do not sign up to be a tank in TY's army. What the hell? How many times? 22 kills, 20 kills, and he leaves them behind? He's left so many tanks on the map this game. It's an uncharacteristic mistake from the Korean Terran player. We're used to him being a lot tighter than that. Oh, no, he's not watching. TY's Marines. The Widow Mines all go down. Okay, thankfully he doesn't lose the Marines as well, but he does lose all those Widow Mines in a clump. Right now, there's only 4 mines on the map, and Ultras have hit the field, guys. 5 Ultralisks are out. They've got 3-3. They've got Chitinous Plating. Anabolic Synthesis is on the way as well. That gives Ultras about a 10% movement speed buff off creep, maybe 15%. It's not that big, but it really helps them just close the distance with bio whenever they're attacking. Okay, sees the Ultras now, does TY. TY's trying to set up some awkward positions, and this is indeed an awkward angle for Serral to be fighting. He's pushing in the top right. That army, though, oh, that army's gonna get wiped. He's just got to pick up. He's trying to pull back to the siege tanks. Okay, the Mutas did have to pull back. They didn't want to go down to the Marines and Mines, but I think he's gonna go down. He's just used his boost. He's got to just stim home now. And that is the right call. On the left, can he win this fight? TY hoping Serral's committed too much to the right of the map. But no, Serral, even though he's crashing Banelings into Thors, it's not the most efficient. It looks like he's just going to have enough units to clean this up. That Marauder does take out the Ultralisk. Both sides continuing to trade here. It's a little bit bad for Serral in terms of direct money trades. Raven comes forward and spots those Burrowed Banelings. Auto turrets come in. Widow Mines here, ready to deal with these Zerglings. Splendid Widow Mine shots. But there's more where that came from. TY needs to gather these units up and get back. The Baneling Ultra coming in, and Serral's going to counter swing off that. Yes, TY's in the top right denying a base, but can he defend this 5th? He needs to. It's actually his 6th base, sorry. No, it is his 5th base. He's got to hang on, but the Baneling Ultra just takes that base out. Well done by Serral. So Serral does get a very important base snipe. Remember, this base is still mining a little bit here. TY comes in and snipes that one. This is a scrappy, down and dirty game. And that unit's lost tab, of course. We'll go off that back to the production tab. +3 armor for the Medivacs is on the way. It's just Bio Mine up against Ultra Ling Bane. With 4 Ultras out, 5 more on the way. Serral is going super heavy on the Ultras. It's all going to be about your Marauder count, your Ghost count. With 14 Marauders out and 4 Ghosts, I think TY is okay. Takes that hatchery down. Serral's only got 1 base that's properly mining right now. TY floats his main down here. I think even with the worker count looking as it is, it doesn't matter. That worker count doesn't matter. Serral's got nowhere to mine. Where's he actually mining right now? 4 mineral patches there. That base, which some of the mineral patches are almost out, he's going to be down to about 1.5 bases of mineral mining in the near future. As long as TY doesn't get surrounded. Oh, and Serral's looking for that surround. The Widowmine's not getting the best shots. A few snipes landing on the Ultras. Is that going to be enough, though? Baneling's on the right side. Mewtwo's coming forward. That's a lot of bio. Is this an overextension from Serral? It very well may be. There's not many Marauders left, though. And Serral, he's losing a few Ultras on the retreat. That's always the danger. Those oh my god. That brave Marauder body blocking that Ultralisk. TY is like, all right, let's punish, let's go, go, go. But pushing onto creep could once again be an overextension. The Banelings on the right just crush his bio Ghost. I think TY has gone a little bit too deep and not quite a good enough fight. He takes out some of these Ultras. A whole bunch of the Ultras are going down, in fact, but the Mutas are getting on top. Does he have enough Marines to shoot up? This is an awkward situation. The Widowmines do force Serral back. Oh, this is still so close. That base long distance mining, that's such a bummer that was not put on location. It's often coming down to the wire in these situations, and it feels like if TY had just a little bit more stuff, this could have turned the other way. As it is, though, Serral reestablishes this base, reestablishes that base to get that bit of minerals, and he's got another hatch popping up there. And he lost some workers, yes, but, ooh, gotta be careful. All right, double Widow Mines behind the mineral lines. Doesn't get too much with that. Ultras can't really get back there. Okay, nicely done here by TY. Just trying to be annoying on the low ground. Muta's on the right, though. Oh, he does not have that covered. Serral's found a soft spot. It's been Serral on the defense mostly for the last couple minutes, but he finds a way over here, takes out the turret, takes out the Widow Mine, forces those SCVs off the line. That's a big win there for Serral. TY pushes up behind this mineral line. He realizes he can use the terrain, siege this from the low ground. They can't really reach more than 1 or 2 drones there, but that's still tough. Uh-oh, Planetary on the right's going to die. At no point did he get building armor in this game. It's been such a scrap fest that TY did not afford building armor. And losing a very important base. Serral can just transfer the drones up here. He's using that Zerg flexibility, that ability to just give up ground in one space, backstab elsewhere, and just move those drones to another side of the map. So he just shifts his resource mining to the top right of the map. He says, your army's a bit less mobile than mine. You losing this base is way bigger for you than me giving up the rich gas base, which I only really care about minerals mostly right now. Yeah, I'm running a little low on gas, but that's actually okay. +2 flyer attacks is on the way here. What a sick game this has been. I feel like this is Serral in general. Sometimes people look at Serral's score lines and they think there's a boring tournament or boring results, but I really don't think so. I think more often than not, even in these games where it's like he's up 2-0, he's looking like he's in the lead of this third game, but this has been such a close one. And those Mutas coming on in. The Lings and the Ultra is going to find that base. TY, he's pushing forward on the left, but every time he kind of does these big counter pushes onto creep, I feel like he ends up taking a really bad trade. That time he saved most of the units, which was really well done. But these Banelings, he's got to watch out for these Banelings, man. One of those +3 Banelings takes out like 8 Marines there. The command center goes down. Does it though? Does it though? I think it's going to burn. Unless he gets an SCV there. No, that command center burns down. The Mutas pull back. Serral held on the left side of the map. These units not able to push through. Look at the creep spread. It keeps re-spreading. Every time TY clears it, Serral re-spreads it. Why is there a tumor here? Who thinks to put a tumor on this base? Serral, as soon as that hatchery finished, sent a queen over and dropped a creep tumor. Like, that's actually insane. In this high-paced situation, he just keeps on setting up those little details, those things that give him a defender's advantage, even on the opponent's side of the map, and snipes do go down. That Ultra getting very bruised. This is a big push. This is almost a final push for TY. He's up 20 army supply, but he's so deep on creep. That is the one thing that's going against him here. Oh, the Burrow Infester pops up from the ground, lands a double fungal on his bio. Oh my god, and goodbye 20 army supply lead. Now it's Serral with the bigger army. That single Infester that he has been so consistently adding into his late game. I tell you, that wins him some maps, man. Serral wins some maps because of that Infester. Holy crap. That Ultra in the mineral line says, hungry Ultralist just wants to hug some SCVs. The Marines unable to do much damage against these Ultras. Most of the Marauders have gone down, and that Ultralist clears the mineral line. 19 SCV kills. The bio stims over to defend, but now they are isolated from the retreat path. They're isolated from their Widow Mines on the right. And just like that, Serral closes out a 3-0. Could we just get a very quick rewind? We've got to see that Infester, because I did not even see it. I did not even see it, guys. Where is that infestor? Where? Okay, it was down here, and he brings it up. He's very lucky TY didn't have energy for a scan there, because it could have gone down, but look at this. That bio on the left starts to come back. He moves out of Widowmine range, and he goes, bam! Juicy double fungal. What a move from Serral. So sick. Wow, what a game. At the end of that game, yes, he was less efficient, but by golly, did he hold on to a lot of bases. Massive units lost all around. Now let's go analyze the game some more. That was a 6 series. All right, so let's take a look at the most crucial part of that final game, and then we'll go back and, of course, look at the previous 2 maps. So the first bit here is TY caught 3 queens out of creep, accidentally walked the wrong way around, runs forward, and annihilates the 4th base. I mean, this is a big advantage for TY from this point. Remember, there's no macro hatchery, there's no 5th hatch down. So that knocks Serral back to 3 base for at least up to 9 minutes in the game. Zerg does not want to be on 3 base up to 9 minutes. And he follows it up perfectly. He starts going for drilling claws, a second factory. We'll see both those go down in a moment. A quick 4th command center. So you'll see second factory starts, drilling claws. So he's going to swap into widow mines, have a 4th base up, and just play this biomine multi-prong. The problem happens with just one big moment here. And it's such a small thing because you could argue this is TY getting unlucky that he moves out just as the army swings in, but it's not. Serral was already setting up. He realized, I'm down. I've got a big army because I got no point in building drones right now. So all I can do is build army. So Serral actually sets up for this. He had a Ling spotter, so he saw the army moving out. But even before that, he was moving a big pack of Lings and Mutas down, saying, look, I'm going to need to backstab. I'm not going to be able to fight him front on. If I just fight him front on, he's already going to be mining more than me with mules. We're just going to come on in. TY does not see this coming. He has his wall lowered. If it was only 1 depot, it wouldn't have been as bad. And he just gets overwhelmed and takes massive damage. And this is honestly such a huge move. Why? TY's whole army was just on creep when this hit. Now, well, why don't you push forward to punish Serral? He's got speed banes on creep. Could TY have pushed forward and killed this 5th base? Yes. Is it incredibly hard to do that while trying to keep your SCVs alive at home and not just having all your bio die to banelings? Yes. Do you still need to send some Marines home? Because otherwise your production is literally never going to get rid of this mutiling? Yes. This was a perfect storm of things happening right for Serral and bad for TY. And I really am a big believer in having a few little spotting units out for TY. And I do think this is such a hard thing to criticize someone as good as TY for. But it's the same thing I tell myself. Whenever I get caught in this situation, if I'm pushing my whole army down one side of the map as a Terran, a lot of us have this mindset of, look, we'll have the rally point there. And he does actually change it to a safer location. He realizes he could get counterattacked, so he's going to change it to that depot. And he's going to bring these Marines to the front. I do think he should have raised that depot as well. But more importantly, I think he should have sent 2 Marine spotters out. Whenever you're pushing down one side like this, it's easy to go, it's fine, the Zerg's still reeling from my previous attack, I'll get over there, and he won't even realize, suddenly he'll be on the defense, and if he does try to backstab, I should have enough units popping out of my barracks to defend. The problem is, if the Zerg's already in a desperate situation like this, or if they're simply a player who's happy to just have a lot of their units on your side of the map, if you weren't keeping them kind of under the gun, there's always the chance they're ready. And that's why, personally, I would have sent a Marine forward to there and a Marine over here, so that you're spotting if they come through the middle or from the left. And yes, if there's mutas roaming around, maybe they just die early, if the mutas happen to be zoning in that area at that moment. But even a few seconds warning of this attack coming would have been huge. If TY knew now and then just splits some Marines back, raises the depot, gets those Marines down, he could defend this. And all you need to do is not trade resources right now, not get slowed down, and you're fine. If you've got a few more Marines here, you just stim. They can't get through because you're on hold position. The tank is actually tanking, which normally siege tanks don't do. And these units are going to get absolutely annihilated. They're going to get smashed. And look at the situation for Serral. He's on 67 drones. He's desperately trying to get a 4th or a 5th up. He's not in a great position. He's even behind in upgrades. Your +2 is ahead. So this was a really unfortunate turn of events for TY, and it was also Serral knowing he needed to make an aggressive play. He couldn't just sit back. If he tried to defend this front on, I guarantee you, he's not trading well into this army. He might even just lose the game, lose his army and the 5th base. He knew he needed to counterattack, so hats off to Serral here. A brilliant play, and this really dragged him back into this game. From that point onwards, TY was always in a really hard spot, and I think it all came back to him not putting any Marine spotters out, and Serral just finding that exact moment, because the Ling spotter saw the army move out, to hit when TY was as far as possible from being able to bring his army back, but also didn't quite have enough units at the rally. Now, in hindsight, if he had the perfect setup without knowing it was coming, if that depot was raised and his units were kind of on hold position there a little bit better, would that have worked out? Well, I don't really think so. If those Marines were all there in a tight clump, maybe the Marines are behind the tank and the tank really is fully walling it. The idea is you want to hold position your units on that so the Lings can't really do much. Maybe you could, and then you could actually focus fire the Marines on the mutas, since those are the ones that are really doing damage, and it might just buy you the valuable seconds. Like, there is a very stark difference between a single depot being lowered, your units, even if it's just 8 Marines, creating a hold position wall, because then the Zerglings just don't do damage. Think about it. If they don't get in, how many Zerglings can attack at a time if that depot is not raised? Like 4, maybe 5 at the absolute most? That's not too scary. It's the same thing if you hold position on a ramp and they've got 50 Lings attacking it. They actually can't get surface area. All the Lings are stuck behind each other. And this is why attention to detail, with rallying to that one lowered depot, having all the other depots raised, that would potentially have saved TY in this game. A tiny detail ends up costing him game 3. Let's go take a look at game 1 and game 2. Okay, so let's look at the game-winning moment. Yes, it took another 10 minutes after this moment, but defending this push was the game-winning fight. So this is the moment where TY is pushing. He's got a nice Hellbat Marine tank spread. He's reinforcing with more Marines and tanks. Serral sets up a lovely flank on the left, and he goes for it. 1-1 upgrades versus 1-1. TY forgot his combat shields, and I was wondering if this was going to cost it for him. 28 seconds from finishing. Not having shields, really big during this fight. That's huge. This tank is not sieged just yet. And just the fact that Serral's so well set up there, and that he's got creep actually going up the ramp. I mean, there's so many details here, not to mention the unit count is just obscene. 38 Lings, 15 Banes, 11 Hydras, and they've got muscular augments. Yes, there's a good Marine count here. How many Marines do we actually have here? So that is 24 plus 2, 26 Marines, 4 Hellbats, 3 tanks, and a Reaper. Let's watch how this fight goes. I really do think this was the fight which decided everything. Banelings coming and getting some great hits from there. These Banelings corner the last of the Marines. Lings got that tank. The Hydras get that siege tank. They close in on the other tank. And that there is just a devastating hold. Now, why is it game over from this point? Well, look at the supply, number one. But first of all, that is 14 drones on the 4th base. Serral has that. He's got a 5th base started. He's got 10 Hydras out. He didn't lose any of his expensive Hydras. And what is more important is the fact that this was a super committed push. TY, at this stage, has gone up to 8 barracks, but he's got no add-ons, no second factory, and no 4th command center. This is a, let's go not just to plan B, but plan C. He needed to do damage and get some momentum and trade well. Remember, that same sort of push in the first map actually managed to get him into a good position. He still wasn't able to seal the deal. So from there, this game was all but over, simply because I do feel Serral is a bit stronger in a standard game, and it felt to me like Serral just crushed it. Now, what led into that? Well, he forgot combat shields, yes, but let's shout out Serral's creep spread. He took this front hatchery, he got creep all the way up this ramp. So even with it receding, it was still up to there during that fight. He didn't lose any tumors to the Hellions and Reapers. He protected them really well. So notice Serral's got this great Overlord coverage. He's spreading his creep really actively. He takes no real damage early on, and he scouts the Banshee that TY was trying to go. TY ends up having to go for a Viking, and while that does kill a few things, it, to me, feels like Serral just got away with some splendid greed. Remember, he re-scouted and cancelled his Spore Crawlers, so TY's trick did not work. He droned up really hard. A 4th base went down just past 5 minutes, straight into quick double evolution chamber, and there really was just no real pressure from TY. So Serral was able to just hit his workers so hard. He used that Overlord speed so damned well. And it feels like having 1-1 finish, getting 14 workers. I mean, this is quite greedy even, to be fair. But I like the choice of it. Because he got so much creep, he knew that TY couldn't punish him quickly. And TY's attack gets stalled out enough for 1-1 to kick in, for Hydras to get out, Bane speeds kicked in, and he's so prepared with this Link Bane counter attack, which he says, look, if things get dicey, I can always send this into his natural, or I can just bring it around the rear and close in. And I think this was just a clean early game, good scouting. TY did a greedy build, but he wasn't even able to fake out Serral. He did no aggressive damage. And when push comes to shove, a beautiful flank, no combat shields, and a great engagement. Once again, I do think against Serral, there is something you can try to do here, which is maybe you should be sending a Marine spotter out to look for a flank. I don't think you need to worry about a flank from that side so much, but technically they could come from this side. Should there have been a single Marine go over there? Maybe. Remember, he sent a Marine to clear that Overlord to go down this way, and Serral actually killed that with 2 Zergans. This is about a minute and a half earlier. Check this one out. And this is just Serral's attention to detail. Remember, the Marine comes down to at least watch for run-bys and clear that base out. And Serral just clears it out with just 2 Lings. Doesn't show his whole army. And those 2 Lings taking out that Marine. And then coming in from the rear. Beautiful play by Serral. Crushes the early game. Basically wins from there. Let's check out game 1. All right, so let's look at the key moments of game 1. Now, I really feel that this game, this first push for TY, almost won him the game. And it's all because of this early Marine drop. This is not the push I'm talking about. This is just a poke. It's just a light pressure. But what he does is notice that creep is spreading all over the map. This tumor does not get to keep spreading because he keeps coming back in and looking for a spread on that tumor. So Serral's unable to spread it. The Marines there ensure that Serral is not able to get his creep very far out. So even though the tumor's finally spread a little bit, it's not all the way down here. And that's TY setting up splendidly for his tank push, which is going to come across the map in the near future. Now, I think this push almost won him the game, but Serral did a splendid job. Remember, Serral snuck a Baneling drop in. He distracted TY on the front by jumping on his Marines. Got 12 worker kills in the main. So that was a really important move for Serral. Unfortunately for him, though, this creep was not very far, and that starts receding very quickly. Now, this allows TY, Serral also a little out of position. He's trying to set up his flank, but he hasn't yet. It allows TY to get these tanks far forward, and he's saying, you've got to come and fight me if you want to keep this base alive. Serral dropping transfusers like mad into this hatch. Does come forward, but look at that. Not enough Lings on the back. The Marines gun them down, so that tank doesn't go down. And that tank barely goes down, but this was an expensive trade for Serral. And TY is able to capitalize on that. TY is rebuilding his SCVs at home, but look at this. The way he stims in, he moves his tank forward. That's a 27 kill siege tank. And this was such a great maneuver by TY. And it's really what gave me high hopes for a bit of a closer scoreline in the series. Remember that this is the first game here in this one. And the pickup into the high ground. I mean, this was an awesome advantage he built for himself. Comes back to the low ground, gets the hatchery. Serral's back on 3 bases. This is not a good situation, especially when you're playing Hydra Bane, a style which classically struggles from behind because it doesn't have things like mutas to do counterattacks and run-bys. If you've got mutas here, you can fly across and force missile turrets all over their bases. You can dart in and out and do all sorts of great backstabs. But TY there still gets a really big advantage. Now, the downside, remember here, the reason I said it's not a game-winning moment or anything like that is very simple. And by the way, he's got to stop leaving these siege tanks. He did this in multiple games in this series. I think one of the biggest mistakes for TY in this series was leaving his tanks. But the big thing is he committed to that, right? So he had 3 extra barracks, which only now are getting tech labs. His 4th command center's only now building after that. And there's no second factory. All of which, I think the second factory, most important against Mutalisks because you need the Widow Mines. But even against Hydraling Bane, players like Beyond always go 2 factory tank to make sure they can siege up and take out the heavy Hydras, the heavy Baneling counts. Now in the follow-up to this, TY does get caught there a little bit, loses a few Marines on both sides, but I think it's all good for TY. Let's mute the game, let's 8 times, and find where does he really lose control? I mean, he's dropping around. He gets a double lib that comes in the top left. He keeps one of them alive. He's dropping in the main, and I think he starts to get a little wasteful at this point. I think there was no reason to have dropped so spread out. I think he could have dropped in a tight ball, killed the spawning pool, killed a few drones, picked up and left. Instead, he lets about 15 Marines just get surrounded there for just about no reason and loses them. Okay, that's a little unfortunate, but he's still got forward positions. He's still got some pretty good situations. Oh, some Widow Mines get cleaned up, but he's like, that's okay, I'm going to come forward. Now, here is a moment in the game where TY, I think, feels like he's in a better position than he is. He kind of comes forward, he sees Serral coming down from both sides, and yet he still engages him. This was a perfect scenario for TY to just pull back for a moment. Why? Let's take stock of the scenario. And this is something which TY lost track of in this game. Look at the worker count. It's 65 drones for 66 SCVs. Now, if you're on equal workers as a Zerg, that is terrible because there are mules dropping as well. Now, the income tab might not show that because mules haven't been dropped in the last minute or so. But look, there's lots of energy across these orbitals. He could drop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mules on this base, and his resources would be at like 4,000 a minute for the next 90 seconds. Or how long does a mule last? Like 70 seconds? A crazy amount of mineral advantage. So TY's got that going for him. Okay. Not only that, he's not going to need as much gas as time goes on, and he's got a 5th command center on the way and a 4th one up there and finished. TY here doesn't realize that Serral has not rebuilt his worker count at all. Now, it's hard to figure that out because he tried to drop on the left and he got deflected. So he wasn't able to get in there and confirm that there was no 5th base. But knowing there's no base there, I think you really just assume there's no hatchery there. At most, Serral's on 4 bases. But I think TY was in the sort of mindset thinking, you know what? Maybe he's got like 80 drones. Maybe he's got 75 drones. Serral did not. Serral needed a good fight and he needed it soon because as these armies grow, things were going to get harder and harder for him to compete with TY's force. That being said, TY was not adding support to his army. Watch this engagement. He's going to lose 2 medevac and a medevac with 1 marauder in it, as well as 2 siege tanks. That's a lot of units to lose. And that's really unfortunate because that opens up an opportunity for Serral to come in here. And this is where Serral fights back in the game. TY could not see everything we could, and I think he just assumed Serral was on the back foot and there was no way he could lose a fight if he was off creep. But TY got jumped on there. He got absolutely destroyed. He loses all of his SCVs. Remember, even though he escapes with some SCVs, they go to the other side of the map and they die about a minute from now. And from here, Serral's back in the driver's seat. He can re-drone. Check this out. He's only now rebuilding his spawning pool. He's realized he forgot to rebuild his spawning pool. He can't even build Zerglings. Serral's in a shit position, guys. He's forced to mass Hydra. He's on 28 Hydras right now with no attack upgrades. Can you imagine if TY managed to not take a terrible fight there? He should have been able to win this game. Absolutely. And I am a big believer in the idea of more siege tanks, but even if you're choosing to play a heavier bio style like TY does, it's just a matter of getting better set up. He was in a tight ball with the Zerg kind of crashing around him from both sides, and that puts him in a bad position. Now, in the follow-up to that, I think there may have been one more opportunity in this game where he had a chance to take a good fight, but we see him dive on creep over and over again, and I think he just didn't appreciate the fact that maybe there was still room to recover in a longer game. I think he got a little bit too one-dimensional and was trying to force the issue a bit too much, and that's something where Serral, who's under pressure and defending, is actually so good at knuckling down and saying, I will survive. I think the way to beat him in this scenario is keep the pressure on, but it's also finding that right moment to back off. It's easier said than done, but I think he lost a few too many units there again. And I think once again, he feels like Serral's bigger than he actually is. Yes, Serral has a 5th base up, but I don't think TY needed to force the issue as much as he did. And in fights like that, he gives away his last little bit of momentum. So just to recap, if you are playing pure bio up against Ling Bane, how do you take that fight then? How do you not get your army rolled? It's all about spreading out and actually trying to create a bit of a concave. Because you're going for so much raw firepower here. It's not the same as tanks where you're just trying to set them up on ledges and have a big spread in a bit of like a blob. With this sort of army, ideally, you are defending a sort of choke point. So the problem here is he ends up with this giant angles on both sides. If he got pulled back to, say, this ramp, if his tank was siege there, his tank there, his bio could have come forward to here, and then it could have just stutter-stepped back to the ramp, and it could have created a huge firing arc on top of that ramp, where there's no way Serral can engage there. Notice he's 2 blobbed up. If that army had split, so half went to the right, half went to the left, and they just started gunning down these front-running Lings and Banes, that might have been better because then he could have stutter-stepped the units on the left down that way, and he could have stutter-stepped the units on the right down this way. So he could have kind of disengaged while gunning down some of these units. But getting caught in a big ball means that if a single Baneling gets close to that ball, even just a few of them, you've got to pick up and leave. And that's the bad situation TY finds himself in here. And he's also slow to boost. He actually had boost off cooldown, but he didn't boost, and he loses a full medevac and another one with 1 Marauder in it, simply due to a mechanical mistake, not hitting boost when he should have. And that's really unfortunate for TY, because I do feel he had multiple chances in this series, but that rounds up the analysis going back through them. I do think Game 2 was absolutely dominant by Serral, but Game 1 and Game 3, really hard-fought games, and a little tweak here or there. I think TY could have taken Serral down in this series. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.